Geometry Dash is a form of art. That is the main concept for this video. The concept of art is literally a visual object consciously created through an expression of skill and imagination. So I meant to say this specific thing of it needing to be visual to be art, just for the specific case of the video, which is the Geometry Dash levels, so it's easier for you to understand. But I forgot to mention that in the video, so I wanted to clarify that. I do recognize other forms of art that aren't visual, obviously, but yeah, that's just it. Enjoy the rest of the video. And that is literally the description of what is a Geometry Dash level. It is something visual. Even if it's only a blank level, you are still looking at the color. Being it white or black or whatever it is, there is nothing such as nothingness in the physical thing. At least not in the events of our ordinary life. That includes video games. But yeah, let's not complicate it now. In fact, while creating a level, you are using imagination to make a gameplay that makes sense with the music, or a gameplay that's fun, or even to make something bad. You are still using imagination to make something awful. Like, I recently participated in a contest to make the worst level possible, and as you can see, the level is absolutely horrible. Actually, yeah, it's intended to be, obviously. But I still use imagination for it. Even for levels that are made to be good but are actually awful. It is still imagination. If you had, like, no imagination at all, you couldn't place a single spike, let alone make a whole level. And you are obviously using skill too. Some have less, some have more. Some do their best, others clearly not. But you are still using some skill. Like, even if I make this crap of a level with only a spike, I still had a skill to place it. There is nothing such as zero skill unless you're literally that. As I said, art needs to be something visual. Once more, in the specific case of a Geometry Dash level. But that doesn't mean necessarily that it's only a beautiful thing to look at. In fact, that's also art, obviously, but art can also not necessarily be something too complex. It just needs to be original and beautiful in its own way. But the only way isn't making a visually appealing level. For example, what do you consider a beautiful person? Go on, answer me in your head, I'm waiting. Okay, so I bet that many of you talked about personality and all, cause, you know, I want to believe that you have something in your head, you know, you have some empathy for others, and you probably said, like, after all, what matters the most is what the person is inside, cause they can't really control the outside that much, you know? And no, by inside I'm not talking about the color of her guts and blood. Even though that's also kind of important, I wouldn't like me someone with a blue heart. It sounds kinda scary. But I'm talking about her personality, which is made of opinions. What makes us have opinions? Emotions. That's the key word, emotions. Same goes for art. If I, for example, show you a painting of a poor little kid, that naturally evokes sadness. Or if I show a cute puppy, that evokes happiness. And same goes for Geometry Dash levels. Some of the most famous levels evoke unique emotions that sometimes aren't even quite describable. And you know what? Those are my favorite ones, cause you have to think about it. Some of the most famous examples are Black Blizzard, by my favorite creator Chromal, Falling Up, also by Chromal, or Lonely Travel by Funny Game. Now, what if someone made something different? Like, everything that exists can have another meaning.
For example, if I just look at this piece of dirt right here and say that it is my happiness, and I just take this shovel and dig it, which is a bit hard, but if I do, and I take it away, I can just say my happiness is gone. It's like metaphors are a really strong weapon.
Why not? You know what I mean? What if I used all of this in GD? Like, what if I make a unique level with all of this? Cause since I clearly don't have the talent to make something bright, visually appealing, and mythic worthy, let's just be unique in another way, you know? Cause everyone processes different situations with different emotions. So this is a spawn of infinite uniqueness, basically.
For example, if I just take this little plant and I take this cup of water, and I put water on top of it, all of the leaves will get wet, but some will bend more than others, so basically, some will react differently than others. Like, actually, every single one of them will react in a slightly different way, at least. So, yeah, every one of them reacted in a different way. And I know
I give weird examples. But yeah, welcome to TC3, get used to it. But yeah, as I was saying, I can use this on Geometry Dash, because people tend to react in a stronger way when seeing something for the first time. Cause when you already have experienced it, you are already prepared for it, you went through it before, and you know exactly what happens. And exactly because everyone processes situations in a different way, this is a perfect way of making something meaningful. And you can use anything to help with this project. Colors, repetitions, game modes, repetitions of game modes. Different game modes can represent different things, transitions, the music lyrics, or just beat, stages of the day, the behavior of the orbs, the color of the orbs. So why not using all of this? Like, there is so much to use. It's basically anything. I can make anything out of this, basically. I just need to be creative. And yes, before you ask, that's exactly what I did. Now, before I start explaining what each part of the level means, I'll just explain how I got the idea to use the music I used and the topic I addressed on the level. So, I'll be honest, I already had this idea in my head for a few months. So now the goal was to get a music and a topic out of that music. That was when I randomly found this music on Kazani Teto subreddit. I probably won't find the post, but it basically said it was a very underrated music, posted like 2 days ago, I think, when I first saw it. And it is a music called Bagel in Your Teeth, by Gurt, by the way. I'll leave it on the description, obviously. And I really recommend you to listen to it. But when I listened to it, in fact, it was very underrated. And not only that, but I actually felt sad listening to it, which isn't really that usual actually. But also, I was recovering from an awful mental state, in which I was lacking of empathy on an absurd level. So I was just like, is it just me who's getting more sentimental? Or is this really as sad as I think? So I decided to share with my sister. And yeah, same effect. She got very sad too, and I don't know if it's cause we are siblings and same genetics and all, but yeah, you can answer me in the comments of this video, I'm actually curious. But the fact is that this twitched the trigger inside of me. I realized that maybe it was a good choice for this project. So I started analyzing the music. And I had the base of the idea in my head, which was like, I'll talk about regret after the death of someone, you know? Basically grief, but I couldn't call the level grief, because there's already a very famous level called grief. And I also thought like, from this idea, I'll make a complex, but visually very simple level, because I am not exactly a good creator to decorate and make very complex stuff and mythic skulls dancing very bright and 300 colors, like those things are amazing. That's obviously art, like that's beautiful, but I don't have the skill for that. I don't know, I can't. My mind is more focused on making something to make you feel something out of simple things that I'll explain in videos like this than in making a super complex thing. Cause also like, I don't like very complex levels, I'll be honest. I actually love levels in the 1.0 style, like one of my favorite levels is XO, that says much. But yeah, I had this idea, and as you can guess, it is what I did. The best I could, obviously. That is why this video exists in the first place. And so, I think it is time to dive into the main topic of this video, the analysis of each part of the level. And I really wanted to experiment showing the level first, and then explaining it so you start understanding it. But I know there's people who judge the level because it hasn't every effect possible on GT editor, nor 100,000 objects. And also it might break the thing of seeing it fully for the first time after knowing what each part represents. So I will just analyze it. And at the end, I'll show you the whole thing, with no music though, as I explained before, it has copyright. So I will leave a link to the showcase of the level with the music. So yeah, after this video, if you don't want to see the level with no music, which I'll show in here fully, just click on that link and see the level with the music. Yeah, I really recommend you, after I explain everything, seeing the level with the music. It's completely different, trust me. This is the start of the level. You are alone, going out for a walk, after you just got the devastating news. A friend you don't see for a long time just passed away. Even though it was someone distant to you by now, it's always something bad, obviously. In fact, there isn't anything worse to a human than death, cause anything that can happen as a more powerful force, like the end of the world, will always result on a death, in which, after all of it, it doesn't really matter if the world is over to you or not, cause you can see it anyway, feel or even think about it. It's all gone for you. And obviously that your first reaction to this news is getting sad, I mean. It's instinctive after all, if you aren't a psychopath. You'll never see that person again. Any conflict you had with them are now gone. And you cannot live again all the memories you had with them. It's all memories now. It only lives in your own mind. And in fact, we spend way more time dead than alive if you think about it. This is all just an opportunity to change something for future generations to change, to just keep changing. Change is a keyword of life, I think. But it's still obviously very sad when it happens, so yeah, you go for a walk. Maybe after a job or school, or just to relax. You don't need to know everything. Sometimes just things happen because they need to. And you needed this. Maybe because you're alright to what's happening the outside. It's also peaceful. The sun is starting to set. Just like your own emotions, who are slowly fading away until you finally realize the depth of what death means. But for now, you feel sad. Really sad obviously, but only sad until now, which is represented by those blue orbs. Blue orbs are sadness. I mean, the blue color in general represents sadness. And also, as you can see, life is still going on. You can still die. You have to keep going while you assimilate everything. Time doesn't give a shit about you. Then you encounter this different emotion, this black orb. What could this be? Well, emotions aren't always easy to understand. You have to understand yourself. Then this blue orb right here is easy to avoid until now. But think about it a bit, it's sadness. And if you click it, you die. I won't say anything more, I'll leave it for your own interpretation. And then, no, you didn't die. You just entered your mind. To think about it. You don't see that person for so long. Who were them? Who are you to them? Because in fact, people tend to think more about others when they die. Maybe because of guilt? Did you have things to say sorry for and apologized? Well, too late. It's over. You try your best to keep that person alive, but they will only live in your head. All you've spent together was it. There's no more. Everything ends. Even people. Even the most important person to you, your lover, your parents, your siblings, grandparents, whatever. You will all have your last moment together. But before we forget this person and move on with our melancholic life, let's think about it. And so the next section of the level starts, and as expected, you remember your friend instantly, represented by the pink color, a strong pink, compassionate, joyful, lovely. Maybe he wasn't all of that. But who has the courage to tell that to a person who's in grief? Maybe if that person never died, you wouldn't ever think such thing of them. Why didn't you when they were alive? Because everything was well? Do you really think it can change? All it takes is a disease, a fall, someone crazy, an accident, or a simple malfunction on the body caused by absolutely nothing controllable. No one ever said it was fair. It's made to work in the big scale, not to everyone. And so, it is your fault for not caring when the person was alive. Maybe their fault too. Maybe they didn't care either. But they are the ones who died. Like, you are alive and you did nothing. What will you do? Blame someone who died? Sorry. Maybe it's not your fault. But will you believe that? Of course not. You're a piece of shit now. But yeah, let's just remember everything you went through together. It's also beautiful. So green, which is happiness. And what's better than happiness? Oh yeah, that's true. Remember you were happy far from that person while they were dying. Such a good memory, I assume. But you can change it. You can die, even if you want. So you can die in this part, because you can die in the past, you know. You can change your past and just die 3 years ago. That's not possible. You can't reach true happiness either, which are the Slinkcopter portals. You can just remember it again, just suffer it all over and over and over again, till you move on to someone else, or to some boring topic in your ordinary stupid life. And then you can try to change it. You can accept it. You can just give up halfway through, wherever. All roads lead to Rome. Still dead, rotting in a frightful graveyard inside a moldy and dark coffin, being eaten by insects and bugs, which is probably the last bad part about all of this. Being eaten or not wouldn't change much anyway. A preserved dead is still dead after all. And you realize all of this. You can change it, you can fix it, it's over. And slowly, the anger you felt for yourself, for just, you know, being such a piece of shit, whenever you remembered how happy you were while far from that person, turns into despair. Like, what will you do? Cause sure, it's all a cycle. You'll get over it. And someone will feel the same way when you die. Someone will feel the same when that person dies too. At the end, it's all a cycle. That's why I think Cycles is such a poorly made level. Like, RobTop could have done much more with it as a level. It's such a powerful world. He could have talked about basically anything, but yeah, going back to the level, I already talked about this part essentially, which is regret and compassion for the deceased friend, so it's really all correlated. But I wanted to put one emotion by one first to explain it better, but in fact, the next part shows that it's all a mess. Because if you really think about it, sadness is on despair for not being able to change it, and on regret too for what you've done, and even anger is present on those two emotions too. And at the end, there's a lot of feelings to this part. Also, if you didn't realize it yet, the pink is fading away. That's true. You forgot about that person, even way before they died. They disappeared off your life just to come back after you wanted to, being pathetic about it. Are you really sad? Or you just feel good with yourself telling yourself you are sad? Maybe your life just sucks so much that anything bad that happens makes you break down. Maybe you're done with life. And finding a reason to be depressed is just comforting, but there's no point in that though. A depressed person is still depressed. And sure, it's treatable, and you can and should be happy, but you won't achieve shit by lying to yourself. Nor to your therapist. You're only wasting money, really. It's better to just say you're done of the concept of life in general. They'll understand it. But yeah, this emotion is really confusing, which is what's in the middle. Fading a bit, like your own mind. giving away to thoughts as you slowly awake to the real world. But it's still a mess, as you can see. A rainbow, basically everything at once. Deal with it. And you're left like this once you wake up, as you can see by the white transition, because all the lights combined originate white, and it is a video game, so it works with RGB system, light, so yeah, it's all a mess by now. But you are already starting to understand the weight of what's going on. It's night now, time when everyone is asleep. You walk alone on this journey, even if other people try to help you, it's you and your emotional swings. Reason why I choose the wave, cause it goes up and down, like your mind right now, but mostly down. It's a blue portal after all, don't forget it, blue. And yeah, maybe this part is actually what's going on the outside, while all of that mess was in your head. You cannot be sure, as I said, you don't need to know everything. Everyone sees this in a way that makes sense. Find yours. Essentially, those people trying to help you are the green slopes, in which you can slide in. Cause no, other people didn't disappear cause you're focused on one that died. In fact, other people give you more help to go through it. They didn't give you much attention before, but at least they are still caring while you are alive. You shithole. So yeah, they are in your way to happiness, which is what we saw on that blue orb at the start. Yeah. And the red slopes are your way to it. Just hit it and done. Even if accidentally, your only way to die when you are depressed isn't that way. You can simply get murdered or have a heart attack. Like, life didn't really stop, as I said before. Time doesn't really care. And yeah, right now, your death is dressed as the way to happiness. Red spikes in yellow, as you can see. And sure, this wave isn't balanced and all, but it's proposital. Life isn't balanced too. There are days way harder and worse than the others. And you complain about it, but you keep going. I mean, you did if you're watching this, and you should. Everyone deserves happiness. And not gonna lie, it costs me to do this act of voice in the head of the player sometimes. But I'll talk more about it at the end of the video. I'll give my own opinion too. This is a good video to show who I am, unlike the other videos where I just act like a retarded teenager. And then there's the final decision. You have two possible endings. If you choose the top one, which is yeah, you know what it is by now, considering what portal it is. You try to reach out to your friend. You can see his soul slowly fading away though, slowly disappearing from your life. Again. What a fucking crap you are. You let him go again. It's all back to the same. Except now you have nothing. Your soul is now doomed to wander around a dark world full of despair. Forever. So yeah, basically you died. Meaning there's nothing more, that's it. You shouldn't have done it, but realistically, you can't really regret it. This is just a representation of how bad death is. You will slowly fade away too, just like you saw your friend doing. And you two will never meet, even if you met the same destiny. So you just didn't get anything that you wanted. Nor happiness, nor finding your friend, nor literally nothing. But if you choose to keep living, you just go back to your melancholic life. Everything is the same. Maybe one person doesn't really matter to a world this big at the end. Time didn't stop. It doesn't care. Actually, while you're watching this useless video, maybe someone is needing help, depressed, injured, sad, or simply missing you. And yet, you are watching this shitty video. And it's in times like this, I think I should just get up and follow my dreams instead of being here. Yeah, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah, that's true. I want to actually be a YouTuber, so yeah, I'm actually doing it. Well, at least there's that, I assume. But yeah, back to the level. The days just go on and on and on. You're still going through red and blue. Everything seems nice, like a cycle still. But it's life anyway. It only takes one different thing to make you realize a lot more sucks besides what's different. But you just accept it again eventually. And as the light of the moon disappears, because it's white, so you're starting to understand it all better, you manage to get through it with a final orb that's green and makes you go through, literally, but also metaphorically, ending the level. Alright, so before the final section of the video, in which I'll have a bit of a monologue, you can say. I mean, I will be talking to you, but technically in real life it will be a monologue. Yeah, call it what you want, but I will talk about some things just to, I don't know, vent a bit, I guess. I just want to make this video a bit personal, you know, it is personal after all. But yeah, before that last section of the video, I just want to talk about the music a bit. But yeah, before we go to that section of the video, I just want to talk about the music a bit, and there really isn't much to say about it that I haven't said before. It's about regretting not spending time with the person that died, and it is actually made for a friend of the person that made the music that has died. It's actually even sadder because of that. It's actually a very sad music. The lore of the level isn't necessarily 100% the lore behind the music, but it's an interpretation. It's art after all, you know. You can dislike or like it. I respect your opinion, but you have to at least consider it, you know, a bit that it's my vision on some things, you know. You can't completely invalidate it, I think. To finish this section, I'll just read the lyrics of the music for you all, so you understand better what I'm saying. I'm sure you will do after my explanation. I hope. But don't worry if you don't, that's my fault anyways. Oh yeah, and by the way, I recommend you to watch the actual music, which I'll leave in the description and all. But I'll just read the lyrics here, so this video is more complete. And also cause I think I'll lose like retention or something like that if I just don't show it and tell you to go to the description video, because people are getting more and more lazy nowadays, they can't even click on a link. But yeah, let's start. So, it starts by, I wish I knew you better. Now that you are gone, you fell to a world that I cannot ever reach. I wish I knew you longer. Had we not grown apart, I'd still see everything bagel in your teeth, which is the chorus of the music. And I will say like chorus whenever it plays, because I won't be repeating it every time it replays, you know. This is supposed to be a quick section of the video, and actually if you wanna hear it all, just listen to the music itself, you know. Then it goes by, moving along in your life makes you lose those old friends you had left, and in time they might depart. Then the chorus again. Then, ever since middle school, I kinda forgot you, but I never thought you'd go forever. I'm so fucking stupid. Should have kept in contact. Should have kept your voice in my life longer. You know, this level kind of remembers me of my grandmother in general, cause you know, it's not like I was ever distant to her, but maybe I could have enjoyed more moments with her and spent more moments with her. You know what I mean? I could have, definitely. But, yeah, it was so long ago anyway. It was 6 years now. It's been so fucking long. It's actually unreal. One day ago, I was just a little kid and I didn't even realize that life could pass that fast, and I still don't really understand it. I don't think I ever will. Adults are just like children but with responsibilities at this point. So I don't think I really ever will. I can just act like I do to look more adult or something, but I never will. I know that. And one day ago, I was just... maybe I thought that I understood it more than I think now. The fact is I understand it as much as I did, to be honest. And half a day ago, she died. And now I'm talking about all of this for a YouTube video. Like, it went all so fast, you know. It's like I said, I still don't process the fact of like death. Like, that means that someone who was born and raised like me just like will never live again. That's so weird to think about. Have you ever thought about like the actual concept of death? Because it's like, how is nothing? How easy to be blind? You know, you can't see anything. So it's like death is death, but for every emotion, for everything, literally everything. How is that? How? And well, nobody knows and nobody can explain something that is zero. The best explanation you can give is literally nothing. Literally nothing, because it's nothing. And I still don't understand it. I only understand that I don't understand it. And that's the first step to understand something. But in this case, it's something I will never understand until I die. And when I die, I won't understand it either, because I won't be able of understanding it. So unfortunately, it's something not meant to understand, maybe because, you know, it's literally the opposite of life. And we are alive, and our purpose is just being alive. So it's like, I mean, our purpose is not necessarily just being alive, but every purpose we have, for it to be done, we have to be alive. You know what I mean? But it's just like that, like, you can comprehend it. All you can do is just feel sad for it, because you'll never see that person again. But what just happened? How is that even possible? Is life even alive? Or are we just always dead inside, just waiting for that confirmation of something that was already happening? Am I just trying to get the most amount of people possible to the end of my life, to have the biggest ceremony ever when I die, the biggest funeral, and the most memories possible, and being the most talked about? Or should I do it now? Because, as I said, the most time I'll exist, I'll be dead. Even if I don't exist, my name will exist. If I do it. If I don't, I won't exist. Like, existence and life are two different things. So just like that, I disappear. This makes me think, how can someone accept death? If you are going to die, how can you even do something knowing that you are going to die? What keeps me alive is not knowing when I'm going to die and just, I don't know, thinking it maybe won't happen. Because otherwise, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? If I got the confirmation that I will die tomorrow, it will, like, I don't know, I've heard stories of people, like, when they are, like, very old and all, just accepting it. And I can't understand it. Maybe those people can understand death in a way I don't, because they're already close to it. Which is pretty interesting to think about. And if you think about it, you do a project for the final result, to learn more at the end. Maybe life is just a project to learn more at the end. And maybe some centuries ago, people didn't even understand death before dying. So maybe we are just slowly learning. Maybe in 200 years, someone sees this and says like, what a fucking dumbass. I understood what death was at fucking 10 years old. And that dumbass doesn't. You know, that's, I don't know. I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense to you, but I cannot understand something which concept is literally is just not being. What is not being? I need to be to even think. How can I think of something that doesn't exist, doesn't think in any way? That's like imagining nothing. I can imagine a blank space, but it's always something. I can't imagine nothing. Because if I'm imagining, if I'm thinking that I'm imagining, I'm already imagining. So I'll never catch myself thinking nothing. But overall, it's not your fault. Talking about the level now, because I created all that psychological horror and all, I yelled a lot. But it's not your fault. Alright, sincerely, it's not your fault. It's not, sometimes it's just a too big thing for us to handle. Decisions that impact on the existence of a death being forever, after we cannot talk to them again or change the way others perceive them. That's just so fucking... How can I describe this? It's just incomprehensible, at least to me. Again, it's a small beam in a big number, but it's still someone. you know what I mean? Like, it's still important. Like, if someone is 3 meters tall and he meets a 2 meters tall guy, the 2 meters tall guy is still tall. You know what I mean? That doesn't work like that. Like I was saying, it is not your fault. Don't let any voice ever consume you. Don't let anyone ever tell you that it is your fault if you don't think it's your fault. And if you think it is your fault, just do it better next time. You can do anything now. It's still late. Too late. So just take a time to think about it right now. You know, so you don't regret it later. Think about everything that you can change for a future and you can prevent happening. And you can prevent from happening. After all, death is still part of life. But it's a stage no one wants to meet, and if they want to meet, that's a very bad sign. But overall, the message I want to transmit with this video is that sometimes there are just things that are so deep that it's hard to understand how deep it is, the impact of it. So just think very well on everything of your life, even the things that seem like the most simple possible, the most granted possible. And if you did a mistake, just keep going. Not with more mistakes, obviously, but keep going. You'll do more mistakes, yeah, maybe even worse than the one you're thinking about. But if you spend your whole life thinking about it, you'll always be that person. If you try to move on and do something else, you can be someone that you like more. But yeah, I have nothing more to say. That's it. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And see you next time. Bye bye.